technically recording. Say something.
Hello.
Okay, this episode is sponsored by Vid. That's 2 episodes I've done that. Maybe we'll actually pick up a sponsor.
Hey, that'd be cool.
I left my hair
What do I
like
got?
ghost. Hey, that was
They
pretty
won't
good.
compete, though. These are really good.
Yeah. I left my hair pretty wild.
You got something.
Dude, no, I'm chapped.
Yeah, that is.
My nose, my lips from all the dry air in Colorado.
Sound like COVID.
Chapped lips means you got COVID. So
No, your voice, you hung like this.
Oh.
Like you sound like you got COVID.
I'm kidding. That's terrible.
Dude, I'm excited to be in here.
Are you?
I really am.
I
I've
don't-
been cooped up in a house. I think it's so funny that the last episode that we shot together was our little 2-part.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how I didn't have COVID, and on set, I definitely had COVID. Because the next day, my life broke apart.
That's hilarious.
But dude, yeah, for
sure. I do remember you saying, "Man, I'm kind of tired. Like I just drank."
No, I went through like everything.
Yeah.
Like tired. My eye was twitching. Like
Yeah, I remember.
all kinds of things. I was definitely COVID infected at that time.
So
And so was D.
that's funny. I mean, it's not funny.
So we're technically.
Oh, hold on 1 second. This is driving me crazy.
What? I was trying to figure out what that noise was.
I could hear that in the
like,
background. Yeah, a little.
What was that? The fan?
Yeah, it was a little,
Oh, yeah.
little bitty fan.
Hey, it's 79 degrees in the gym.
Yeah, which is massive. I mean, we had that cork coat sprayed on the roof.
Oh, is it helping?
Dude, it dropped the temperature immediately. Don't get me wrong, we've had like a little cool front kind of push through, but it dropped the temperature of the gym by 10 degrees, like
So the roof is done.
done.
It's done?
No more leaks.
Oh, wow.
Dropped the yeah, that was before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know that happened.
Yeah. That was when doing all that
The
heavy
hurricane or
rain.
what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, I got my porch ripped off.
No, seriously?
Yeah.
I haven't been by your house.
The
though.
back porch, the whole little, I had an awning there for
Yeah.
the covering. Gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Insurance?
I don't know, renter home. He said it just was like scrap metal, pile it up, it's done. I was like, all right.
They
So I
gonna
just
replace
drug
it?
it out there.
Replace it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I had some small branches laying on the roof. Well, pretty good sized branch laying in the backyard, but
Man, there's some houses around us like full on trees,
Oh, yeah.
like on the house,
Yeah.
broken right on the center of the truck. Like
Yeah.
it was crazy.
so this episode we're gonna call it catch up.
Yeah.
We're gonna catch up on life, what we've been up to, because we haven't been in here in over 2 weeks technically.
Yeah, because we pre-recorded,
Yeah,
and now we're shooting Monday, and tomorrow the podcast comes out.
it comes out tomorrow, so it's like
fresh one.
a fresh, rushed episode.
Yeah, it's
Not-
all right though. We tried to prepare. I was really thinking D and I were gonna do one, but
Oh, really?
we'll just bring D in.
Yeah.
Maybe this
Come on
week.
in, D.
Come on, D. She's not here.
She walks in like, I've been ready for this.
Yeah,
I tried to get Nikki on. She's like, I don't know.
I want Nikki on.
It's gonna take some like real convincing.
Maybe we bring D on, and then we bring them both on. Maybe if she sees D get on, she'll
Maybe.
come on out.
Maybe that'll do the trick. I don't know. I hope so. I think it'll be fun to have our wives on. Or not fun, maybe.
No,
tell
it would be fun.
tell our deep, dark secrets.
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
Where we failed as husbands.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, probably.
I
I hope
think it'd
not.
be fun.
I think so too. I'm excited a little bit about it. I am excited to do it. I just got to convince my wife to hop on here.
It'll happen.
It'll happen. So, Jake, let's talk a little bit about your COVID experience. I'm kind of like, we talked a little bit, but I was gone for a lot of it too.
Yeah. I mean, did it happen right before you left?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, you started we shot like a 2-part, we shot like 2.5 hour episode straight through, and then we ended up cutting it, right?
Yeah.
That was on a Wednesday.
We did a good job with like the little edit between.
That was pretty funny.
I thought that
right?
was cool.
Yeah, that's good. That was on. Did we shoot that on like Wednesday or Thursday?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And then I left the following week for Colorado, and you were sick this whole time.
Yeah. I'm really just now getting back up. I think COVID itself was a breeze. That wasn't hard.
Yeah, like
it's the after effects.
So what did you have? Like what was your symptoms? Like what was
I
going
was
on?
just tired, headaches.
Yeah.
I really just a cough for like one day, and then I was like chills. I woke up with chills the day of a wedding.
Oh, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. And so that was the first wedding out of 6 years that I missed.
And what's impressive is that you had a group step up and help you guys out like on short notice.
Super short notice. Like I called the wedding coordinator that morning and was like, I've never missed a wedding. I did not expect this, but I was going to have to drive 4.5 hours there, shoot the wedding, 4.5 hours back.
Yeah.
And I was going to die. I really felt like I was going to die.
Well, you made the right call, like going there with COVID.
Yeah. When I really started, like, I know that, like, it's my business. That's the problem with being your own photographer.
Yes.
You're the guy.
Yeah.
There's no one else that really comes in there. They didn't pay for somebody else. They paid for you.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to just pull the trigger like that and be like, I can't come.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I started looking at, you look at their grandparents and you look at their parents and you're like, do I want to be the reason why in 3 months this newlywed couple loses their parents or their grandparents?
Potentially, yeah.
I'm like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be there for the wedding.
Did you talk to the bride and groom at all?
Just through the wedding coordinator, and the bride did reach out to us afterwards and was like, "Thank you. You sent like a really great crew. They were all professional.
That's fantastic, man.
It worked out. It just was really discouraging for us because I don't ever want to miss a wedding.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. Like here at the gym, like we have really good coaches. Rich and Caroline do a fantastic job, but they're just not me. You know what I mean? I mean, and so it's like the same thing. I feel like people come here. Don't get me wrong. We have like everything we do is like community driven, this and that. But it's kind of a problem a little bit. Like I need to like slowly expand.
Well,
figure that out.
You don't realize it, but you're a glue.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you get away,
yeah,
like yes, they are excellent coaches, but it's still you're consistently talking to people.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, where are you at?
Yeah.
Like, you're the one.
I'm the one that's checking up on. It's my job. I check up on people, make sure that they're.
So and then I've always heard like you'll never, and I'm not saying that they don't, but you'll never have someone treat your business like you treat your business.
Absolutely
because
not.
this is your baby. You created this, so you're passionate.
Yep.
Where other people they're hired to be here. They're passionate. And the same thing with what we do.
What's crazy is so like Rich and Caroline would do this job for free. I believe that. I mean, they did for a while. Like when we first started, like them coaching, I didn't pay them, and which is crazy, but they loved doing it. And we've been fortunate enough now that they get paid pretty decently. So, they're super good. Both of them do a great job. I'm super happy to have them. They make my life a lot easier. So, and it makes it possible for me to go do the things that I like to do.
Right?
Take vacation and stuff like that. So,
so overall, I think
thank you guys.
I think we did pretty good through COVID. So, I mean, like I said, the after effects, it's just like the headaches, the dizziness, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I already had that stuff before, but I've always heard that COVID intensifies wherever you're weak at.
Yeah.
And that's where I felt it. But yeah, the kids got it and they didn't even act like they had it. I mean, they were running around.
They're like, vacation.
They were annoying. You're like all clogged up in your head and stuff.
That's pretty typical though for kids though, right?
Yeah.
Especially with COVID. Because like
kind of any sickness really, they kind of like push through it.
Well, most. So it depends on what it is. Like if they have like strep, like when Camber gets strep throat, she gets strep throat like probably 2 to 3 times a year.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy. But like as soon as she hits antibiotics within like a 12-hour period, she's already like way better. Yeah. 24 hours later, you don't know she's sick.
Now we did take medicine. We took some steroids and stuff like that a doctor prescribed to us. I wish. Not those. Whatever my gut got bigger.
No. That's because you were just sitting around eating food all day.
God. Yeah. And that's the thing. I lost taste, smell. Taste is still coming back, but you eat and you don't feel satisfied because you can't taste it. So you're like eating it feels weird.
It's blah.
Yeah, it's just like you eat and you're like, I'm not getting anything from it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. We ate at La Casona's the day before. Dee and I both did before we did the podcast.
Yeah.
And I ate and we were both like, this hot sauce tastes like crap. But it never does. I love their hot sauce. It's hot. You can taste all the flavors. It was like, this tastes watered down. We had COVID. We didn't even know we had it. We just couldn't taste nothing. So I really only had one bad day. Yeah. Other than that, it was kind of like just tired, just didn't want to do much, but it's all right. We did that and did the infusion.
Yeah.
And we felt the first day of the infusion like drags you down, but
does it? So
after that,
that's kind of I don't know anything about it. So, but it makes you
antibodies that they're putting into your body that help fight, and it was like a pretty quick turnaround after that.
That's awesome.
It just got in there. I mean, I sit there for an hour getting pumped in with an IV, and then you have to sit an hour after that to make sure you're good. But I was just like heavy-headed, kind of dizzy.
Is it because of the reaction, right? Because
they want to make sure you're going to take.
Yeah, because I know somebody on Nikki's side of the family who had a pretty harsh reaction to it.
To the infusion.
Yeah, to the infusion. Yeah.
They said it's rare. I mean, but sure. At the same time, it's weird because Dee was like, she kind of got panicky because she got in there, but then was like, I trust this, but not the vaccine.
Yeah.
So she was like, but I don't even know what they're putting in my body now.
Oh, yeah.
So it was still like she started freaking out a little bit. And me, I'm just like, I don't know. I just know that the doctor that we went to, she said like, I don't do the vaccine. I've never taken it and I won't because of certain things. Like she's done the vaccine for certain people and they've already died.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like, she says I don't trust it.
Who's this? Who's this?
I'm not. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know if that's something.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But I was like, wow. Like she's like, I'm not. If I am forced to give that, I'm not going to do it because she also gave it to a family member too, and they've experienced something and have gotten cancer since then. So like, that was like instant, like right after. And a reaction came and it like started affecting her body. Well, then it wasn't like cancer. It was like skin cancer, but she got a rash like right after the vaccine. They tested it.
That's super strange, man. Like, I don't want to get into the vaccine debate right now, but
no, but I'm just saying like, even now going through it, I still wouldn't do it. Like, I'm still not going to get it. No, obviously not now for sure. Cause I've already got it.
Yeah.
But it's hard because like, dude, I've lost 2 people that I know, like grew up with. Yeah. They lost their daddy this week, and it's like, dude. And then
were they vaxxed or not?
I don't know if they were vaxxed or not.
I mean, it's not that important.
I mean, it kind of is. I mean, you kind of want to know the stats, but there's some people. I mean, I know of people that are vaxxed and they're getting it, so it's like, okay.
Yeah. This is a whole crazy conversation.
So I'm just like, okay. So what's the real point? Like, if I'm going to get it regardless, why take the chance of taking something I don't know what it is and then getting it anyways? And then like, what are the effects years from now? You don't know. So I've already got it. So
I'm playing the devil's advocate here because I'm playing for the vaccine, even though I'm not getting it or believe in it myself. Yeah. Like, my understanding is that if you take the vaccine, at least the symptoms you have while being sick are
they're less mild or
more mild. Yeah. And so like you get over it, you recover.
I've heard that.
And I don't know how true that is or not either, right? So, anyway, I'm just saying.
It's going to ultimately come down to
the individual.
It needs to be your choice.
Yeah.
And it comes down to be forced to do it. Yeah. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I think that ultimately, yes, it should be your choice. I ultimately believe that COVID affects every individual completely differently.
Yeah.
Based on your health, your immune system, do you have underlying issues? Like all these things, right? They play a major factor into it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So, anyways.
Anyways. Jake was sick. Dee was sick. Kids were sick.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
We didn't work out. We came back today. Dude, I think I got through the workout better today than I was expecting.
Yeah, you did.
I did take it easy on the first part, but...
You were a little worried.
I was because you don't know. Like, I've been so dizzy lately. It's like, I don't want to freaking hit the ground in here. Yeah. Yeah. But... I think Dee even said the same thing. Like, we feel like we popped back pretty good.
That's good.
Talk to me tomorrow. I don't know how sore I'm going to be. I think the squats are going to get me, but I think I'm ready to rock and roll again because I'm just like, I'm tired of sitting, and it felt good to get in here and
move your body. Yeah, move your body.
Do something.
Dude, it always does. Like, breathing hard and having a high heart rate and sweating is like, it literally feels like medicine to me. I always feel better.
And I'm going to say that too, as far as like preparing for COVID. I think because we were like I said, we were doing vitamins.
Yeah.
about a month out, which I think that was just, like I said, it's funny. I said, oh, God, protect me out of COVID. But God actually prepared me for COVID because I really feel like we started taking vitamins a month out. And we'd never take vitamins. Dude, we've been married for almost 13 years. Never take vitamins.
I'm not a vitamin person either.
No,
Every once in a while I'll be like, I should take some vitamins.
Yeah.
I should.
Flintstone vitamin or whatever. But yeah, so we took vitamins and we're prepared. And then we've been working out for a year.
Yeah.
And it never affected our lungs. Like I felt like we were in shape, ready for it.
Yeah, it's so wild because like I've seen some gym owners or like a ex like CrossFit Games athlete, like as fit as they come, right? And he had COVID and he was like genuinely thought he was going to die because he couldn't breathe.
So like, maybe it doesn't matter then.
So I'm saying like I think it affects everybody so much differently, right?
Yeah.
So weird.
That's true.
Whatever. I don't know, man.
Well,
I think it's
talking about COVID.
I'm tired of talking about it.
I mean, it does affect people's lives and it does take people's lives, and it's sad.
It's serious.
Sad seeing my family, like not my family, but these people that I've known my whole life that are dying. Mm-hmm. It sucks to see that.
Yeah.
And I can see where people get mad at you if you don't take the vaccine, you're not protecting other people and that kind of stuff. But again,
well, that's see that one's
die from the vax too. So it's like
that's another
choice.
It's a whole nother argument about that. Like getting vaccinated doesn't mean you don't carry it and pass it. So
no, it doesn't.
No, at all. So that argument is completely null and void.
Well, they're showing too that some people are getting infected by people that have the vax.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. I don't want to start like a huge argument debate over that one. But.
I'm not arguing. I agree with
you. Yeah, I know.
All of it sucks. It's just it's a weird situation. This whole thing is weird.
It really is.
So let's talk about something different.
Let's talk about something fun.
Sick of COVID, man.
So you sat around eating all day, and I did the opposite.
Oh, I know. And I was eating bad too.
You had no desire to like.
Well, I didn't want to cook. Nobody wanted to cook. We were just like, I don't want to cook something.
Yeah,
so we were like Sonic and fried chicken.
Oh man.
Oh, Little Debbie. Dude, Little Debbie was like my nurse.
Little Deborah was hooking you up.
Little Deborah was definitely hooking me up. Dude, I hit honey buns up. I hit everything.
Oh my goodness, Jake.
Like I went the exact opposite of what you should have done.
Yeah.
Just off the rails, man.
Yeah.
So I gained weight. You lost weight.
I lost weight.
I'm jealous
like
now.
Crazy. It was wild.
Dude, I'm going to say this. Like before I was like, I don't know if I want to go on the trip. Not because I don't want to be with everybody, but it's like, it's a lot. Like,
that's a lot.
To get prepared for it, the money, all that stuff, to like get all the gear set.
Yep.
But you're making me freaking jealous this week.
Yeah.
You sent me like seeing the video of like the campsite, and I'm like, dude, I know that's fun.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's a lot of hard work. It's like in the moment, it's at times exhausting.
Yeah.
But man, it's so much fun. It really is. Like,
let's hear some stuff, man. I'm excited.
You want to give you like a breakdown?
I don't know. I just want to hear like what all happened.
Yeah.
Give me some juice.
Give you some juice. So, if you don't know what we're talking about, audience, we, myself, Lucas Brinkmeyer, and Matthew Getzweiler went to Colorado on a 10-day elk hunt and in the mountains, right? Actually, Matt was in New Mexico the week before, so he spent a full week in New Mexico.
Golly. Did he kill anything there?
Man, he had a ton of opportunities. Like I want to say every day but one day of the 6 days that he actually hunted.
Mule deer or
elk?
Oh, elk in New Mexico.
Oh, dude, massive.
Yeah, they're huge elk there.
Yeah, it's
but
so
I didn't
strange.
I didn't know what he was hunting there.
It's such a dry.
Dude, I bet he was tired.
He was exhausted.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The good thing with where he did this was pretty awesome setup. He was in this unit. I don't want to say what unit or where because then. But what he did is he rented an Airbnb that backed up.
Oh, cool.
So he had like exclusive access that other people didn't have. Because you can't camp inside this unit. Right.
So he would just like hop the fence right there? Or was it like...
you just walk right into the unit, right? There's no fence.
Yeah, that's cool.
So he would literally just like wake up in the morning, go hunt, come home in the evening, right? So it was in some ways easier. He had a house.
Yeah.
Compared to what we did. We bivvy camped, every single night.
Bivvy camped? What the freak?
Like camped.
But did you move spots?
So, okay, here's how it went. Matt actually left on Wednesday from New Mexico last week. 2 weeks ago, technically. Yeah. And drove into Denver and picked up Lucas and I from the airport. Mm. So that night we drove in and got in late. And we have a lifelong friend of the family. His name's Warren that moved to Colorado 10 years ago. Mm. Best hunt shack you've ever stayed in. $1 million hunt shack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not a hunt shack at all. It's a beautiful house, like sitting on the side of a hill looking over the mountains. It's incredible. So we got in late on Wednesday night, stayed the night at Warren's house. So I slept the first night in a king-size bed.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. Got up the next morning, and we've connected through Warren. We connected with his neighbor, who's an avid elk hunter. The dude's he was a school teacher and got into financial advising. So for the month of September through October-ish, the dude just takes off.
Yeah.
He works for himself pretty much. And
the benefits.
The benefits, yeah. And he hunts the entire month, archery hunts, and then will help with some muzzle loading with his father-in-law and stuff.
Muzzle loader at the same time?
Yeah, so there's a 2-week window or like it's 10 days or something like that, muzzle loader. Right in the middle of the archery season, which is, in my opinion, jacked up.
Oh, yeah. They're shooting guns off in archery season. What's the point of having archery season?
Yeah, it's a little crazy. But anyways, that's not my problem, I guess. Anyways, Matt's an incredible dude and kind of like took us under his wing a little bit. And
Matt's the friend, right?
Yeah, okay. He's the neighbor to Warren that I've known since I was a kid. Super nice guy, man. And he's just like, tossing us, hey, let's try this. So last year we hunted like this area right behind their house. Mm-hmm. So Warren's house actually and Matt's house backs up to this piece of Bureau of Land Management, BLM property, and opens up into a national forest.
Oh, that's
so great. You could hunt out of his house every single day. But what we did this year, we kind of like we dropped off this big peak. We parked at the top of a mountain range called Sunlight Peak. Maybe I shouldn't be naming.
What are you doing?
Dropping names. It's not a big deal. It's huge acreage. It's like it's not like you can Sunlight Peak and like where the elk are. We dropped off there. It's like 10,000 something feet elevation and worked our way down. Day one, Lucas has brand new boots and absolutely wrecks his feet. I mean, maybe we should post the picture up on the video so people can see it.
Ugh.
No.
That made me grossed out, to be honest, when I saw it.
Let's just go with the size of a tennis ball on his heel blister with the skin just like ripped open. Yeah, day one. So the first night we camp, which would be Thursday night, we get done at the end of the day. He's like, dude, my feet are hurting. Pulls his boots off, and we're like, oh, crud.
Jeez.
One of his feet is like really bad, like it's the size of probably a tennis ball. The other one's probably the size of like a golf ball on the other heel. It's pretty bad. And we're like, oh, this is not good. And so that's day one of 10-day elk hunt, right?
Yeah.
And we ran into elk that day. It wasn't a great opportunity, like it really wasn't. It was kind of like a brief skirmish with them, more or less.
Wind's like circling in there.
Super important, man, the wind, because like if they smell you, it's over, right? And
but are you like in valleys, like where it circles, or do you have a direct wind? Like
it's all over the place. So like if you understand elk hunting a little bit, there's like thermals in the morning. Your natural wind, because of it's cool, is going to carry down the mountain. Okay, and oftentimes elk are moving up during that time.
Yeah, so they're right. It's right in their face.
It's right in their face. But Colorado winds are always swirling all over the place during the day and stuff. It's a mess. It really is. So we had a little elk encounter. It was pretty cool. I knocked an arrow, some cows. They didn't really know where we were. I think they just kind of like either smelt something or heard us, one of the two, because we were like about to pump water out of a stream. Like you filter your own water.
Yeah.
And stuff. So we were walking and we were within like, I don't know, 15, 20 feet of the stream, getting ready to pump. And then just on the other side of these trees, there's a bunch of elk also drinking water. And we didn't know it. And all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, bull. I'm like, so we like stop.
You saw a bull?
Yeah, I saw a bull, and he had like a small harem of cows, probably 6 to 8.
All cows have at least one bull with them, or no?
During like the rut.
Okay.
Right. During the rut, whenever they're breeding, their breeding season, there's a bull who is like collects the cows.
Right.
And like, hey, these are mine. And then that's how they end up fighting and stuff.
Rut is when?
Usually September, October.
Oh, so that's why they're bugling.
That's why they're bugling. Yeah.
So the bachelor groups, when is that happening?
Soon as the rut's over.
So, okay.
Winter
But
starts.
there's no season for that, or is it only rifle season then?
It's only rifle. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, man, dude. So we have this encounter, right? And I see this bull, and he's like, he doesn't really know what's going on. I could tell they didn't know where we were or anything. They may have just heard something they didn't like or smelled something they didn't like because they kind of spooked. And the bull kind of crosses our path through the trees. And I'm like, so we check up, I knock an arrow, and the cows circle up straight at us. Like, and you can legally, we have with an archery tag, you can shoot bulls or cows.
Yeah.
So we're like, oh snap! So I get ready to draw, and they immediately, because we're standing there, like getting ready to get water, right? So we're not like prepared to like hunt anything, honestly. And we're like, oh, and it just happened, and it was over in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know.
Would you'd pull back on a cow first day?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because elk hunting is so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we were in the woods for 9-10 days, and we all drew back. Matt drew back maybe 3 times, released 1 arrow. Lucas drew back once that I know of, and I drew back once that I know of, like full draw. So that's day 1. All right. So yes, I would take a cow. The meat is the ultimate prize. Like, don't get me wrong, awesome set of horns would be great. But at the end,
bulls, I heard they don't taste as good either. But
yeah, I mean, because they're especially during the rut, they're running around like crazy. A bunch of adrenaline goes through their system and stuff, and they say it makes it
messes up.
Yeah, but that's kind of day 1 there. So we pump our water, we go to another location and kind of check it out. Camp that night.
Are you encouraged at this point? Are you like, man?
So here's the deal with that's the reason why we go during the rut is because we want to hear animals respond to us. So we're constantly calling, or at least doing some calls, cow calls, bugles, stuff like that, and we're wanting them to respond. So we have a location to know where to hunt them. If you've never experienced or watched, if you've never at least watched like on YouTube or something, like elk talking, like cows, or especially a bull bugling, you won't know what I'm talking about. But just do it. Go hop on YouTube right now. Pause this, hop on YouTube or hop off our video and just go watch a bull bugle during the rut.
It's intimidating.
It is one of the most incredible things ever. And if you experience it in person,
I bet.
I'm getting chill bumps.
I bet.
It is one of the most amazing things. It really is. It just fires me up. It's such a cool experience. And so that's why I love that time of year, because you have these bulls just like screaming in your face, and they're fired up because they're like wanting to breed. It's like that time of year, right?
Yeah. So they hear a bull, they're ready to fight because they want.
So early as they're very inquisitive creatures too. So if you call, like we do some like calling sequences that aren't really aggressive a lot of times, just to pique their interest.
So is there only one caller, or are y'all both calling? Like, do you have a cow call and a bull going at the same time?
I'll do both. Like,
really?
So if I'm the
you
caller,
can do both because you got it in your mouth.
Yeah, so I'll be doing back and forth. There's like a little external read, internal read, or like a diaphragm call, and then I'll kind of throw in cow calls and some bull noises and stuff.
Yeah,
back and forth, right? Depending on what the animal responds to. But nothing's talking day 1, nothing's talking day 2. So it's discouraging. Even though we ran into elk.
Yeah,
it's so discouraging when they're
cow talk to you.
Oh yeah,
with the cow call, or
like if you cow call, they'll respond meow. It sounds like a cat. Meow.
That's what it does. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
That real high pitch.
Yeah. Anyways, got some over there.
Maybe we should do one. I think it's fun.
We'll do one.
Do an elk. Do a bugle too. Blow my ears out. It's gonna blow my ears out. Which is this easy to learn, or
it takes practice.
It does.
It's easy, dude. It really is. But it does take.
You just gotta know what they sound like, and then you gotta make that happen. So do you growl like?
Yeah, with bugles and stuff.
Yeah,
I'll kind of give you some of that. But this is a cow call, or this is what I use for cow calling. Also have like external reads, so it's like one outside. It looks just like a duck call.
Oh, okay.
And you kind of just.
So what makes you, if you're bugling, you want this in your mouth with that? What do you call that?
This is a bugle tube.
Bugle tube.
Yeah. So this would be like cow calls. Like that'd be cow talk.
Yeah.
And they just like make all kinds of crazy noises. And like, there's a wide variety of sounds they make. So that's what would be like general talk. They're just communicating, but then they have.
So is that multiple cows? Like you're trying to.
That would be me doing multiple
multiple
cows. Yeah, kind of communicating. Yeah. And then they make all kinds of sounds where it's like more whiny and like very sexy sound. They're like trying to turn that bull on, like, come get me, daddy.
Do that one. Let's hear the sexy cow call.
So
this is gonna make me laugh now. She like whistling?
Yeah, it's like a longer, like like real whiny sounding kind of.
Jeez.
And it's like a.
It's getting hot in here.
I'm in heat right now. That's literally what it was like. She's saying. She's like, I'm in heat right now. Come get me.
Wow.
That's what she's saying.
Do you? Okay, so like with coyote calling, you start off really soft, then you get louder as you go.
Yeah.
Do you do the same thing with elk?
With the bulls?
Well, anything. Like if you're going to do a call sequence, do you just blare out, or do you like the first one you do a little soft just in case you've got elk close?
So there's a good story about that. Yes, that's how I do it. Like it's kind of a general rule of thumb. You throw out some soft calls to see if anything's really close by, right? So we have had 0 responses the first 2 days, and it's like early afternoon on day 2, and I just rip a bugle like. Normally, I throw out some cow calls and maybe like a low, like kind of growly or like a little for the bull just to see if somebody's home, like within 100 yards or something. And day 2, we've had 0 responses, and we just crawled across this nasty rock slide, like giant, like boulders like the size of this table, literally. Yeah. And it's like hundreds of yards long. We like missed the spot we should have hit. We went a little too low. We were supposed to go a little higher around it.
Yeah.
And we end up crossing this nasty like terrain, and we get on the other side. We're all like dying, like huffing and puffing and stuff. And I'm like out of like kind of like goofing off.
You have to wear orange?
No, not near.
Not an archery season?
No, if you're an archer, you don't have to. If you're a muzzle loader, you have to, or a rifle hunter, yeah, you wear orange. There's a certain specification on how many square inches you have to wear, but not for archery. No,
that's good.
Yeah. So we crossed this rock field on day 2. And dude, I just rip a bugle, and I broke one of my rules of like throw out some cow calls, something soft, just to see if anybody's home locally, like right there. And I throw out what's called a location bugle, where you just rip one, like real high pitch, you know. And there was literally where I'm standing, a little group of pines. There's a stream. Guess what? They're watering again on the other side, and literally within 15 yards of us.
Do you know there's a stream there? It's like where y'all were headed.
So I'm looking at a topographical map on my phone through the GPS, and I'm like, okay, I know there should be some water potentially over here, but I'm not really thinking about it at the time.
Snow up top?
No, there's no snow up top where we're at. It's too low.
I didn't know because where's the stream feeding from?
It's just out the ground.
Okay, just a natural
springs.
I didn't know if it was like snow melting off, that kind of stuff. But snow's been gone for a while, I guess.
Literally, it's like amazing how clean the water is.
Oh, I bet.
Like, don't get me wrong, we filter, like we use a pump and we filter the water so it gets like, general dirt and stuff that could be floating through the water out of it. But just the pure taste of a natural spring water coming out of the side of the mountain is amazing.
Yeah. And
it just blows my mind.
Wow.
You cannot drink any pure water. It's absolutely nuts. It's so delicious. So like drinking spring water is one of the most, like, one of the rewarding things of doing this too. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I ripped this bugle, whatever. And I like ripped this bugle, and there's a whole group of elk like right there. I'm like, oh, you idiot. So I immediately like kind of chase after them, and I see them run around over this little.
So you spooked them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A full on bugle, like as loud as I could, 15 yards away. And you couldn't see them because there's like a little grove of trees between us and them.
So what makes them run out? I mean, don't they think that's an elk? I mean, or is it just so unnatural that they're like, there's
exactly.
No way that's an elk?
Like the location bugle is something like you're using for hundreds of yards.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm trying to get somebody to respond half a mile away.
So you'll hear them that far away?
Oh, dude, long ways off. Whenever a bull rips a bugle, it's like you're like, whoa, and he's 3/4 of a mile away sometimes.
Wow.
It's that loud.
Jeez. So
absolutely.
Let's hear what one sounds like.
Like that loud? No,
just do something like
some bull call stuff.
Let's hear some bull calls.
Some bull talk, like whenever he's like kind of ruddy or just like communicating with his cows, he'll do some like little low stuff.
They're like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Don't they like kind of like pop like that?
That's called glunking. So like
Glunky.
glunking. Okay. That's what that's called. Yeah, glunking. So yeah, it's kind of weird. But like when they're a lot of times they'll do it
peeing at that point, right? I've seen video of it. So
not necessarily. They can be, yes. Like
because their bulls are nasty.
Yeah,
right?
I had this bull fired up so bad one year that like whenever he was like bugling and getting like angry with me, he was just peeing all over the place.
Yeah, and then they roll in it. They get in the mud and what do they call that?
It's called
Wallowing.
Yeah. They'll get in water and they'll roll in and stuff. But this is some bull talk.
Yeah, I can't hear it very well in here. Yeah. So that's quiet.
Yeah, that would be quiet. Yeah. Like more like communication stuff or like the little chuckles at the end. Like
how far is he when you're doing that? Like you have eyes on him or you just hear him?
Usually just hear him.
So when they get close, do you start getting quiet? Like
No. The opposite. If I have that bull's attention, I'm doing the opposite. So it's like you have to find the goal is to find their trigger, right?
Yeah. So if you do something and he bugles, you're like, that's his trigger.
Boom.
I'm going to keep doing that.
Yep, that's right. So it could be a soft cow call. It could be a string of cow calls. It could be a chuckle bugle. It could be a loud ripper, bugle where you're just like location, like here I am kind of thing.
Yeah.
If he responds, you pursue that, right? Because like every animal has like their own little thing that they kind of like tweak on or like their little trigger that like gets them fired up.
Tell us a formation that you and your hunters get in order to make sure someone's got a shot.
Yeah. So if it's two people, like a lot of times if we're hunting like for instance, like if it was me, Lucas, and Matt, a lot of times we split off with like one of us with the other local hunter, Matt.
Okay, so
Matt as well. 4. Yeah, there's 4 or more of us sometimes. We would go in twos, and you would just go a front and back person, collar in the back, shooter in the front, 50 to 75 yards apart, and that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the goal is to like deceive the bull.
Yeah, right? You want him walking past the shooter,
the hunter. Yeah, the shooter
to come to you.
Yeah.
You sound like a cow call.
So. Day 2, like we have the head to blow these elk out. So we're seeing elk. We know they're in the area, but we're not like having these really good encounters. Honestly, it's kind of like, oh man, we're just kind of pushing them out. They're just kind of running off, and stuff. It's not great. And Lucas's feet are jacked, dude. So we hike out of this area. Remember, we parked at the top of a mountain. Where we worked our way all the way down to basically the.
You haven't set camp up yet?
No, we camped one night.
Oh, you got camped.
This is day 2.
Oh, okay.
We hike all the way out back to Warren's house and Matt's house. So it's like miles and miles and miles.
Yeah.
And we Warren takes us back up to the truck that day to pick it up. And Lucas's feet are jacked. And like at that point, he was nauseous, dude. It was brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely just nauseous. Like, we're coming off the mountain, and I'm like looking back at him like, he's not going to make it. We're going to have to put him down.
Just put him down.
Just put him down. Arrow through the head. But it really was. It was brutal. You could tell he was in a lot of pain. Every step downhill because it pushed a lot. Think of your feet sliding forward. Yeah. Ton of pressure.
So it's the slide that was really good.
So like uphill wasn't that bad because you're on your kind of toes. Yeah. But the downhill was like just absolutely just like every step was excruciating. In fact, I turned around at one point and looked at him and he was coming down like backwards.
Oof.
Yeah.
Man, that's not fun.
No.
When you're out there in the middle of nowhere and you can't get any relief.
And there is no like, let's call a buddy and have us come pick us up. It's like
you got to get out of there.
You have to get off the mountain. So we kind of cut that day a little short, just like instead of like us really pursuing and hunting. That's why I honestly was like, I just ripped that bugle like to see if anybody would respond. We were just kind of like, hey, we're trying to get really honestly back to the house.
Yeah.
So we can kind of figure out what to do with Lucas. Like kind of. That's day 2. So we get there and Matt comes up and he tells us, he's like, hey, let's get bandaged. Lucas bandaged up and like we're kind of talking. Like Lucas is thinking about at one point he's like, dude, I'm thinking about getting a flight out of here. Like I'm going home.
Done.
And like kind of talked him down a little bit on that, like, hey, dude, give it a couple days. Even if you stay at the house for like 2 days, maybe your feet will feel better. Well, we start talking to Matt, and at first he's like, hey, let's go hunt this area like right behind the house, like easy hunt for like me, you, and our Matt, the 3 of us, and Lucas kind of chill out. And then the next thing I know, we've always heard about this place, like that Matt hunts, the local hunter.
The Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail. And this is where the story really begins, whenever this like hunting trip. And so for the last 2 years, we've heard about this place called Disneyland. That's what he calls it. And he calls it Disneyland because it's a ride the whole time. There's elk everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's incredible. And so he's like, how do you feel about going to Disneyland? And like immediately Lucas is like, I'm not hurting you anymore. Like all the pain's gone. No. But we're like,
he's like cut his feet off. He's on nubs now. He's like, I don't care.
I'm good to go. But he's like, how do you like, let's, what about Disneyland? And I'm like, dude, you've been telling me about Disneyland for 2 years. Like, this is the secret spot. Like, I'm kind of like, are you sure you're ready to like reveal this to us, And he's like, yeah, we're doing it. I'm like, yes, this is like the spot. He's always talking about bulls everywhere, screaming their heads off and stuff. So we hike in super late that night. Lucas wears like his tennis shoes, like his runners, instead of his boots. He like bandages up like crazy, and he's obviously in pain. But we make the hike in, it's like 3.5 miles to this like area that we're hunting, and which was honestly is like it was a lot of uphill, so that helped. In fact, the whole way there, we probably gained 12 to 1,300 foot of elevation from the beginning of the trailhead to where we hunted. So it's all uphill the whole time, so which helped a little bit. So we get there, and we plan on staying for the rest of the week. So we had staged some food at our truck, and we would just make a hike out every 3-4 days, grab a little extra food, go back out and hunt, stay on location. So that is like Friday. Saturday morning we get up, boom, we're in elk right away. We're having encounters throughout the day. Nothing crazy, nothing too exciting, but bulls are bugling. And so the adrenaline expectation is like through the roof, man. Yeah. Everybody's like pumped up and ready to go, Weather rolls in that night, rains. So we wake up Sunday morning. It's cooler a little bit. Bulls are even more fired up, ready to talk. There's a lot more movement in the woods. Elk are just moving around. The cooler it gets, the more they move. They're big animals. Like, if it's super hot, that's why they're not moving around a lot. Yeah. That's why Thursday, Friday, we probably didn't have a lot of success. Saturday, it got a little better, plus better location. Mm-hmm. Sunday, it rained Saturday night, got a little cooler during the night. They're even more active, so we're like getting pumped up. Sunday night, absolutely rains for like 7 hours straight, on and off. So it was like so bad that I think I woke up 4 a.m. and I wake up at like 4 a.m. to go to the bathroom, and it starts raining on me as I'm peeing. I'm like, oh no, here it comes again. And it's blowing like a gale the whole time. Oh, really? Yeah. So I don't know like what y'all know about like bivvy hunting or like the type of gear we're carrying around, but like we backpack everything in. So I'm carrying a tent. My tent is literally just the rain shelter part. There's no floor to it. There's no
not a floor? Mm-mm. Really?
No. So I put like a pad on the ground, it looks similar to like a yoga mat style thing. Yeah. And then I have a blow up pad that goes on top of that. So the
mouth blow up, like you blow it, pump it up.
Yeah. Blow it up with your mouth and then sleep in a sleeping bag.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Just right there on the ground, right? Mm-hmm. It sounds like real primitive because there's no bottom of the floor or anything. It's really not that bad. It's really not.
You just like scrape the ground.
I just kick all the rocks out of the way or any sticks or pine cones or whatever. And yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. And the point is though, is light as possible, right? Because if you're carrying like all this gear, like the phrase we use is ounces equal pounds, right? So if you're like, oh, I'll just carry this extra whatever, miles down the road, you're paying for it, right? Because you're carrying, it goes from like, hey, my pack could be 30 pounds or my pack could be 70 pounds and really fast. And you just don't even realize it just by decisions you make on your gear choices. So I'm sleeping on the ground basically, with just a tent shelter, and it rains for 7 hours. So my fear at this point is I'm going to float away on my little floaty.
Your little air mattress. You're like going down the hill.
Down the hill. Like, oh no.
Bond in Colorado. Here we go.
7 hours it rains, and we wake up the next morning to mayhem. Absolutely elk going crazy. Temperature dropped like 15, 20 degrees. It's low 30s, high 20s that night. And we wake up to elk absolutely going nuts. So this is our first like real opportunity day. Yeah. Where they're like fired up, responding to calls. I had that morning, Lucas and I had split, and Matt had gone to another area. Matt, the local Matt Hunter, he had to go back Sunday during the day. So Monday morning, it was just us. Matt Gutzweiler went off by himself to an area that had been holding bulls, and we knew that. And he was up there calling. He called in a bull, took a shot at 30 yards, nicked a branch, and went right under his belly.
Oh, man.
Dude, he was sick, man. So 30 minutes of working to call this bull in, and then missed a chip shot, really, Yeah. And he was super sick, man. You could tell, like, as soon as we saw him again, he was just, like, absolutely heartbroken. It's hard, man, because you spend all this time to make it all work out, and then so many things can go wrong, especially in archery. But Lucas, me and Lucas were in on these bulls, and I was calling them, and they were responding perfectly. It was a group of 3 bulls, which was kind of odd. Like, we talked about this afterwards. Like, it was a bachelor group in the middle of the rut, or, around the rut time, breeding time. And we're like, so either the 2 of them were younger, so it wasn't as odd as I thought, but it is kind of strange for them to be, like, grouped up. But a nice bull, and it's kind of like up there. And Lucas got 25 yards on him, and just bull was covered up by some trees, never could get a clean shot at him, so never got a shot.
25 yards with an elk. He's big at that point.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He's ginormous.
Huge. I mean, at their back, when they're standing, they're probably 5.5, 6 feet tall.
Is it just
they're
like
huge.
A deer? Like, are you aiming right behind the front shoulder? Is there lungs, heart, different spots?
So here's the deal: is like with elk, because their shoulder blades are so big, and all it takes is a matter of them moving their leg to protect their heart. I don't aim for heart. I go double lungs, or try to shoot through the lungs, mid cavity.
Where is that on an elk?
Mid cavity. Like, if you shoot a little higher and a little back.
But mid cavity, like between the front shoulder and back, or you're saying mid?
I literally go, like, I aim for mid cavity. Like, take the shoulder, move back 6 inches, go mid up and down. That's where I aim. Try to maximize getting a double lung shot. Shooting the heart is definitely possible, but the risk of that, because all it literally takes is one step, protect the heart, boom, game over, especially in archery.
Stuck in the shoulder blade, not going through them.
Yeah.
You don't think it'll shoot through?
It can. You're shooting a heavy enough arrow, and we're going to talk about that in a second, because that's the reason why I probably lost my bull this year.
Yeah.
So incredible day. Tuesday, another little slower day, but we still have some elk encounters. Wednesday, another good day where we have a lot of response and stuff. Super good day. Thursday rolls around, and I start getting the anxiety of, like, not anxiety, but like you start feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
We've been in here this is our 6th, 7th day to hunt. We haven't put one on the ground, but we're having tons of elk experience.
Yeah.
It just never happened, and it's so hard, man. So many things have to go right. Like, let's just say there's a 10-step process to kill a bull elk or an elk, right? Finding them and getting within bow range is like the first 3.
Yeah.
There's so many things that can go wrong from that point. Yeah. So Thursday was a little slower, but we're still, we still had some elk encounters that day. They're still bugling and stuff. We're still getting in range. Friday morning, we wake up, and Matt's back on Thursday, the local hunter, Kova, and him and Lucas connect, and they go down to a spot that had consistently had these bulls, like, coming around. And that morning, I think that Matt texts me. He's like, "Hey, we got 4 bulls, like, ripping down here." And I'm like, "Great, we have 3." So it was, like, absolutely crazy. So Matt Gutzweiler and I, we go over to an area, and bulls are bugling on their own, which is fantastic, because that means we're not communicating with them, and they're just doing it on their own. They're naturally rutting, right? Naturally communicating, bugling. And dude, I let out a few cow calls, and no response directly to me. I let out a low kind of whiny bugle, like, "Hey, there's a bull over here," like, just letting them know, like, "What's up?" No, like, real response. They're bugling anyways. And then Matt has a different call than I do. Sounds a little bit different. He lets out one whiny, very sexy cow call. And dude, this one bull is like, "Say what?"
Yeah.
Like, instantly. And if you ever watch a hunting video where, like, you see these bulls, like, come running and, like, bugling their heads off, like, ready to throw down.
That's what he was doing.
Dude, it was incredible. Oh, it's crazy.
So do you hear like, I'm sure you do. Do you hear like branches and junk breaking when they're coming through? Like
we absolutely had bulls do that this last week.
When you call, do you ever do any of that or no?
Yeah, for sure. So like I'll intentionally like
around some stuff.
Yeah, like kick the ground, like kick some brush,
break a limb or
break some limbs. Yeah, just to sound more natural, like you're an animal. But we actually had one on like Wednesday where that happened. I had in the morning early had some bugles. We could tell one had pushed his harem, his group of cows off like up, and they were bedding up higher. But we heard another bugle down like halfway down this ridge, and so this is pretty crazy. I go in there and we're like, okay, we think he's right around here, like a general location. Like, okay, because we heard him half a mile away or whatever. We get up on the ridge and I let out like 2 cow calls and a branch breaks and he like steps over the ledge and looks at us.
Oh, wow.
It was like, so Lucas and Matt had time for them to knock an arrow and that was absolutely it. It was over at that point.
Yeah, they run out.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like once he didn't see, like the thing is with an elk, if you make sounds like you're an elk, they're looking for one.
Yeah.
And if they don't see one, they're like something's wrong here. They're gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that actually happened to us on Wednesday, where like no response, but branch breaks, so there's a big animal in the area. Like it was like crack. He walks over the ridge and looks down, and we're like, obviously he could tell like we're standing there, but we didn't really know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And he like slowly like turns and just kind of trots off, and that was over within 15 seconds.
Yeah, and they cover ground quick.
Oh, dude, it's crazy how much ground they cover.
Yeah, they're big and they got a big stride on them.
Dude, it's nuts. Like we talked about this, so let's go back to the story with me shooting the bull. So Matt like calls and he immediately responds. So I look at him, I was like, sorry, bud, you're calling. Like the roles kind of changed. Like whenever like he responded to him, like we found that bull's trigger. All right. So I set up and, I can hear him and he's moving across from me right to left. So I drop back and it's a big bowl, like wide open in the middle. And there's trees surrounding on this like kind of like ridge all the way around this bowl. And so my first thought is, he's coming around. He's coming through the aspens. If you've ever seen an aspen, beautiful tree. Yeah. White bark. He's coming around the aspens. So I drop back, sneak over to the left and get into the aspens. What does this bull do? The exact opposite. He comes up like he's going around and then shoots straight across. So where I was set up originally would have set me up like a 10-yard shot. And I'm having to take a 50-yard shot across the meadow. Mm-hmm. Still not a super long shot for me. I mean, we practice up to 100 yards.
Bull's bigger than what you've been shooting here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I shoot a block target that's 16 inches wide, all the time. So huge animal, dude. And I smoke him right side through the ribs, right through the first lung. And I noticed when he turns that my arrow is at a 45-degree angle sticking high. So I skipped a rib. So I shot him through the right side cavity, must have hit a rib, and my arrow deflected up, and it came out on his left side, like
further back,
higher, just higher. So it like went in at an angle because it's arching, the arrow's arching, hit a rib and bounced and came up, and it was like probably 6 inches higher than where my impact point was on the right side of the animal.
So not double lung.
Probably nicked the second lung. Mm-hmm. But immediately, here's this nuts. So like we're like, dude, Matt is pumped like right away. He doesn't know what's going on.
Do you hear the crack? Like, do you hear it hit him?
Dude, it's crazy.
I mean, I've shot deer before, so I know it's like you hear it. But I was kind of
it's a body thump, thwack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, because at 50 yards you don't see your arrow that well.
Yeah.
At the point of impact, but I heard thwack in his body, and he immediately turns, and I see my arrow like 3/4 of it or plus sticking out his opposite side.
Do y'all bugle as soon as you hit him?
So Max starts calling right away.
Yeah. It kind of like calms
him down, and he actually stopped. So I knock another arrow, but he's facing me, and he's like 80 yards, right? If he wouldn't have been facing me, I would have tried to take another shot. But he was facing directly at me, and I'm like, I don't know that I can get a lethal shot directly, head on.
At that point, dead center of the chest.
I would have aimed dead center of his chest, right? But he's looking straight at me too at that point too. So I don't really get another shot off. And if he would have turned and presented his side to me, and I would have absolutely taken that 80-yard shot and tried to put another arrow in him. But that arrow skipped, and I learned and I learned something. We'll discuss that in a second. We immediately, like, we're like, Matt, 15 seconds later comes over the ridge, and he's like, wow, like pumped up, because he knew, like, I got a shot off and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I definitely hit him. Good shot on the right side. It looked a little funny coming out on the back side. Pretty sure I skipped a rib. Let's not get too excited, right?
Yeah.
But immediately after that, guess what happens? Elk were still going nuts. And we're like, dude, we have 3 tags to fill. We have 4 tags to fill. Local hunter Matt, Lucas, Matt, Gutzweiler, and myself, right?
Yeah.
So, like, we immediately go back into action of calling. I go swap back to calling, and Matt jumps in to shooter. And I called in, like, close to 30 elk for him that morning.
How many?
Close to 30.
30 elk.
Within a 2-hour window. It was absolutely...
These are all separate groups or all, like...
No, separate groups.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was just absolutely crazy.
When you say calling, like, you got them in shooting range?
Every single one of them.
Wow. No shot fired?
So here's... Oh, man. So immediately called in, like, 3 calves, like babies.
Oh, yeah.
Good eating, but ethically we don't feel right about shooting a
Well, not
baby.
after you have all these bulls in the area. You're like, like that.
Matt would have shot a mature cow, and it had intentions of shooting a mature cow, because 2, 3, 5 minutes later, whatever it was, mature cows came into what we end up calling the banana bowl after the morning, because it was bananas the whole morning. So the banana bowl, man, all these cows end up coming through in spikes, like a pretty good sized herd. There was like 3 spikes in there, some more calves, like 4 or 5 mature cows. And Matt goes to draw, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees a 5x5 bull, like, walking up.
Yeah.
So immediately his intention or his reaction is, okay, I'm going to try to take the bull. Well, during this time, like, the cows and the spikes start noticing there's movement.
Oh, yeah.
And they
eyes.
keyed in on them. Yeah. So you have like 20-ish, different cows or elk, like, looking in his direction, and the bull's like, wait a second, what's going on here? Right. And it just didn't pan out, because they kind of all, like, they didn't really spook. They just kind of, like, moseyed their way off. They just felt uneasy, I think. After that, I called in, like, a group of 5 spikes, which are not legal to shoot.
Can't kill spikes.
No, not in Colorado. Yeah, other states you can. Like Oregon, New Mexico. I even think Wyoming possibly.
Why is that? Is a spike?
I think it's to protect them and let them grow.
Young?
Yeah, they're young. Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, usually they're spikes until they're at least 2+.
I don't know if that was like a genetics thing.
No, not. It can be, but it's very rare.
Yeah.
Usually by the time they're 2, they're at least a 4x or something like that. So it just did not work out, man. Like, 30 some odd elk come through the banana bowl, and Matt never gets a shot. And I come over the ridge at one point, and I see him just throw his hat because he's out of frustration, because like, all these shot opportunities just kept coming. It just never worked out perfectly. So at this point, it's like, I shot this bull at 7:30, and at 9:30 we have yet to even started looking for him, because it's just...
Which is actually good.
Yeah,
You want to let him die.
Let him die.
Close.
Yes. Not bump them, stuff like that. So, man, we finally, like, okay, all right. Lucas and local Matt Kova come up the drainage, and they meet up with us, and stuff. And we, like, all right, let's try to start locating my bull now at this point, blood tracking him. We go over, find a nice blood spot where he obviously was bleeding good, got bubbles in the blood, so that lets us know it's a lung shot, we're good there. And immediately we start tracking him, and boom, he's on private property, right? So luckily Matt...
Fences?
Okay. Yeah, I jumped a fence. And so luckily Matt Kova, he like, this guy knows everybody. It's crazy. Yeah. So he starts calling, like, he calls a ranch manager from one of the local ranch. He's like, hey, I don't know. And that ranch manager's like, the next property over. He's like, hey, I don't know who that owns that property. So we call the Department of Wildlife, and they start, trying to work angles. Like, hey, we have a bull cross the fence here. We need to blood trail him onto this property, blah, 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 blah. And we jump through all these hoops, and the guy's a financial advisor, right? Mm-hmm. Turns out that the son-in-law and daughter of the landowner is this guy's client. Oh, yeah. After, like, almost 2 hours of trying to...
He's like, new hunting area. Check.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there, private
no,
land.
Like, trust me, he was already seeing, like, the wheels were turning.
Oh,
But he after like almost 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours of like trying to get a hold of this property owner. Like it turns out to be somebody like his son-in-law and daughter, the daughter and the son-in-law, like he knew him. So he texts the guy and he's like, hey, and the guy's like, yeah, absolutely. Go track your bull. And we blood trailed this bull, man, for zigzagging all the place. The dude did a circle. Like, what the heck? Yeah. Like, he goes off the hill and he's zigzagging down. He does a circle. But we noticed the blood is, like, drying up or getting thin. So what happens is a lot of times with a big animal or just any animal, it'll coagulate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it closes the wound. So he's still bleeding internally really bad. We know that. Yeah. The lungs are going to fill. He's going to die. It's just a matter of finding him at this point. And, dude, I spent the next 6... After that point, we lost of losing blood trail. I think we tracked total like 8 hours until it was almost dark that day on that Friday, and just never found him, man. I gridded off the piece of property that I was on. It's 160 some odd acres, that private property, and I gridded it off, and I checked every box, man. All but this one place back where he originally came from, right? I didn't go backwards because he was consistently going downhill.
Yeah, they tend to do that as soon as they get shot, they start going downhill. They can't.
They don't want to work harder, right? Going uphill is hard, so they tend to go downhill. Man, dude, so I spent hours, like after we lost blood trail, just like zigzagging, like kind of looking at my map, covering all the boxes, making sure I'm like walking everywhere on this property. Never found my bull. And dude, it's one of those situations where I like absolutely just like physically and mentally, emotionally exhausted at the end of the day. And it was really our last day to hunt. We had Saturday morning, technically, about 2 hour window. Yeah. But we really were like, if we shoot anything that morning, it has to be like perfect. You have to shoot him. He has to fall over dead. We have to clean him. We have to pack him out, right? Yeah. Because we have to be home by Sunday. We've been gone 10 days at this point. Yeah. And I talked to Nikki, that night, and I'm just like, I am like, you shoot an animal and you put so much time and investment into like the pursuit, the hunt. People like, she's always like, we talk about this. Why don't you just shoot one with the rifle again? I'm like, and not that taking with the rifle is wrong or bad. The hunt and the pursuit of the animal is what I love. Yeah. And archery gives you that for me. Mm-hmm. And it's more than just a hunting trip. It's more than just hearing the elk bugle. There's so much that happens to me every year that I go on these trips. Like I have almost this primitive reconnection of like life is simple. The enjoyment of nature. It like regrounds me. It makes me. It prepares me and makes me love the things that I love most. Mm-hmm. Like I come home ready to be a better father, a better husband. It makes me miss my family like so much, during this time. But it just like almost like refreshes you for daily life, spending time in the woods and in the mountains. So it's like it's more than just the hunt. Yeah, it's way more than that.
It gets awfully quiet out there.
You get a lot of time to think. Yeah, and you
get to spend time with the Lord while you're out there too.
We've talked about that. Like I sit on the side of the mountain and it can be dead silent, and I'm exhausted. My feet hurt. My calves are burning from climbing uphill, all day. And I just stare across this expanse, and you're like, God created this, and it's amazing. Yeah. It is an opportunity for me every year to like recenter who I am, And that's why I love this trip every year.
And you're ready to go back.
Dude, I would go back in a heartbeat. If my family was there, I'd be in Colorado right now. I wouldn't leave them again. My poor wife, she's an absolute trooper. Yeah. It's incredibly hard on her every year. And why wouldn't it be, She's carrying the load that we normally both carry, So it's extremely difficult for her to pick up that, that's what I'm saying. She's a strong woman. Yeah. Because every year for 10 days, 11 days, she takes on the role of mom and dad. Yeah. And without knowing that, like, she is strong enough to handle it, I couldn't do it, And she, like, man, with with everything, like with her, I don't know how deep I want to get into this, but because of Hayes, like she's had some postpartum depression and stuff. So it's been like, and leading up to the trip, it got worse. And and we knew it was because I'm leaving, you know, at least I know that. I think she knows it too. You know, it's in the back of her mind. So there's like all this doubt of me leaving and stuff. And so it was really hard on her. On top of, hey, she's taking on the role of like all the responsibilities of being, you know, a single parent basically. And, all the anxieties that she had building up to it. It was really tough on her. And I'm thankful that she lets me go. She told me I couldn't go as long next year or at all, maybe. When I got home, she's like, "You're not going next year." I told her we'd discuss.
Nikki. I'm like, I'm getting there. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I told her we would discuss that later after she's feeling better.
Wait for a good day.
Yeah, wait for a good day.
Or just get really annoying, and she's like, "Yeah, just go."
Right.
Just kidding.
No, I mean, it's like, it's really hard, dude. Like, it really is. Like, and I know that, like, what's the best way to? It reminds me of like how much my family needs me. You know what I mean? Not that she can't handle it. She's, like I said, she's an incredibly strong woman. But when I'm gone, I miss them incredibly, and I know that I know my family needs me in their life, you know? So on one hand, it like makes me realize and makes me like that, okay, that, not satisfaction, but that, like I know I'm needed, you know? And so it gives you like purpose, you know, like my family really does need me kind of thing. But man, the hunt itself, the experience in the mountain, and you just have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really understands really how much like time away and quiet and how much it's needed. It really is. Like it's time. It's like a refreshing time for me personally. Like I'm exhausted. That's what's so weird about it. Like I am so tired by the end of the trip. My feet hurt. My legs are just burning. My glutes are all jacked up. It's really funny. Like, it really is. Like, I'll be walking up here and like, oh, dude, I lost 12 pounds in, basically 10 days.
Yeah.
And that was like not even like probably more than that because I ate like a freaking pig on the way home. It was nuts.
So let's hear about the bear.
Oh, dude.
We close this out.
Okay, let's go through the saga of Lucas real quick before we close this out. Lucas, day one, destroys his feet. Absolute blisters, like they're ripped open, pus, the whole 9 yards within a couple of days.
That's so
over the week, it was gross. And like the dude straight powered through. Okay, so that's the first thing. Then, let's see, Sunday night. I don't know why he did this, but he had left his backpack sitting out, so it got rained on for 7 hours.
Oh my gosh! So all this. What, fresh clothes, all that stuff?
No, we don't really. Okay, so we don't really have fresh clothes. Let's be honest.
So you just every day wear the same stuff?
I take like
you're not going to pack.
Yeah, I'm not taking tons of clothes. I literally cycle socks out every other day. I wear a pair of socks, let them dry out, wear them next day. Like back
I bet those are gross.
I haven't washed any of my clothes yet, but I guarantee you would throw up if you smelt my clothes back. So I'm just alternating like socks and stuff. Underwear don't get changed. Wearing the same shirt, same pants, the whole 9 yards. It's brutal.
Yeah,
it absolutely is.
10 days. It's like a third of a month. Same clothes.
It's a lot more primitive than people realize. Yeah.
So anyways,
backpack and bow left outside. Absolutely soaked. And you know what it was is we got in late that night and he just like we ate and he just kind of was like there's no rain in the forecast and just kind of threw his backpack on the ground right beside his tent. And we're sleeping in tiny tents.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room to just throw.
Yeah, so mine's big enough that I can fit all my gear inside. His is like mine has what's called a vestibule. Mine has a double vestibule. So on each side it has like a zip up area that's like expands out and gives you space outside your sleeping bag. Like kind of a little half diamond thing on each side. So I can put my bow, my backpack, some of my boots, all that can go around my backpack, or my sleeping bag, just like right around where I'm sleeping. So it's not huge, but it's enough to fit all my gear in. Lucas has one of those, not two, on his tent. It's a little smaller. It can fit. It's just tight, right? No rain in the forecast that night. Throws it on the ground. No big deal. at 9:30 at night. Just pours, and like I don't know if he just didn't think about it or whatever, because he's already like snuggled up in his bed. He's all like comfy. Ooh, just a nice, and absolutely soaks all his gear. So he wakes up the next morning and it's freezing. It's like 30 degrees, and his 30, maybe a little over 30. We had some hail that night too, so 30 some odd degrees, and his backpack is absolutely soaked. Totally made it worth it because we ran into some great bulls, and he got 25 yards on a big bull that morning, but he suffered for it for sure.
Yeah.
So the saga of Lucas, blisters, soaked gear, and then on Wednesday night, we're hiking up, and it's completely dark. You know, you're hunting till dark pretty much every day. You're up before daylight, and you're getting home, you know, when it's dark. Mm. And we were hiking up, and Matt Kova, the local, he's like, turn your headlamp. I was like, I don't even have my headlamp on. Like, we're just hiking in the dark because we kind of know where camp is at this point. We're just hiking up. He's like, turn your headlamp on. And I'm like, what? I don't even have it out. He's like, grab your cell phone. So we grab our cell phones and just kind of click on our lights, and it, like, he's like, bear. I saw a bear. I'm sure of it. Like, in our camp.
In the camp.
In camp.
Yeah.
And so we had, like, you hang up your food in like dry bags.
Yeah.
And this bear had ripped Lucas's dry bag. Only
just
Lucas.
His?
Just his. It ripped his dry bag, and there's food.
Oh.
It looked like a garbage can. Like, it's just like trash everywhere.
Oh my god!
And here's what's awesome: that bear had Lucas had taken in like a small size thing of Nutella. That bear went to town on the Nutella.
Oh.
So Lucas,
it's just his stuff.
Just his stuff. Oh man, nobody else didn't even touch it. Like, nobody else's food just destroyed Lucas's. Poor guy. So blisters,
so bad.
Soaked gear. By Wednesday, the dude is like we're 1 full week into this hunt technically, and all his food's eaten. So then we're like rationing food. Like, me and Matt, we're all like, hey, here's some snacks. Here's a meal for tonight.
Oh wow.
Dude, it was a mess. Poor guy.
He's never going back.
No, he's definitely going back. I mean, we're already planning next year. Let's be honest. Nick, you didn't hear that. She knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Poor Lucas had a rough trip this year.
Oh man.
And Matt Gutzweiler, you know, our buddy, that dude troopered for.
Oh yeah, he's on 20 days probably.
He was on 16 days of hunting. The first few days, like, he put in a lot of miles, don't get me wrong, but he went home to the comforts of a bed and a shower and stuff like that. So it was a little easier in that aspect, but still super long.
Where does he live?
He lives in Houston, South Houston. Yeah, he's not
married
far.
or no?
Girlfriend, very serious girlfriend. If he's not married soon, I'd be surprised. 31.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
he's young then.
How old are you?
31. How old are you old guy?
I know, I'm like the old guy.
What
in
are
the
you,
group.
like 37?
36. So me and Matt Kova are like both. I think we're both 36, and we're like the old guys in the group. But like, come on, you whippersnappers, get up, we gotta go.
Yeah.
But no, not really. It was good, man. I'm ready to go back. I really am. You ready to go?
You got me intrigued.
Yeah.
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 I think I need to start buying gear probably.
So here's the deal. For any new hunters or people wanting to experience it, you just have to do it. That's exactly how we got started. Myself, Lucas, and Josh Guffey went our first year, shot a 6x6 bull. And
you did?
Yeah.
You didn't mount it?
It's on a Euro mount at my office right now. But it was literally like, hey, let's do this. You want to do this? Let's do this. You want to do? Oh yeah, let's do this. And you just have to do it. Because it's one of those things in life that you like, everybody talks about wanting to do.
Yeah. And
you just have to do it. You can't be like one of those, can't be one of those things in life that you're like, yeah, one day. No, eventually you're going to be so old that you don't want to climb a mountain.
Right.
You know, so just get up and do it.
Yeah, I need to do it.
Dude, that brings up something funny. So a friend of Matt Kova, the local, his buddy, his name is Thad, and his name is Roger. Roger.
Thad's dad.
Thad's dad.
That's pretty cool.
Thad's dad, his name is Roger. And dude, this guy, like, we only met him for about 15 minutes, okay, on one of the hunts. And because they had hiked out and we were hiking in. And this guy is like the perfect picture of like an old school like miner or something, like long beard, like half bent over a little bit, kind of guy. And he is like just a straight like jokester, prankster, like funny man the whole time. Like we're talking to him, he's just hilarious. But he's like the perfect like not hillbilly, but like he reminded me of like a mountain man or like an old miner or something. Fantastic guy to meet. Like it made my day, like just meeting that dude. But he's the one who actually found the place called Disneyland.
Oh, really?
So check this out.
The legend, huh?
The legend. So he was actually doing some work for one of the property owners nearby. And here's the story of how he found this place. He said he was doing some like heavy machinery work, and he'd put the heavy machinery into reverse, and it would beep beep, and they would bugle. And that's how he realized he wanted to hunt this place. He was like, I got to learn how to elk hunt. And this was years and years and years ago. And ever since then, he's elk hunted.
Wow.
That's the legend of Roger. Cool. Yeah. So working on some heavy machinery, and it would beep when he's backing up, and they would respond with a bugle. And he's like, I need to learn how to elk hunt. And that's how like all this began.
He just like runs him over. He's like, beep, beep.
Bam!
Hits him with the bucket.
Swings the back around. Whop!
That'd be good. Then you just scoop it up.
Scoop it up. Yeah.
No packing that one out.
Load them up in the truck. Yeah. So.
Wow.
Any new hunter that wants to get into hunting or do a big game like out west hunt is you just have to do it, man. Start researching the gear. It's not going to be cheap. At least the first, to buy.
What do you say the investment is?
If you do it right the first time and not like me and like buy cheap. Okay, I better buy better get better, buy better gear. You could be gear all in for your first year for like $3,000.
Yeah.
And that's like you buying actual good quality products. I made the mistake, and Lucas and I both did. Year one, we're like, oh, we don't want to spend that kind of money, so we spend $1,200, $1,500, half, right?
Yeah.
And you realize, oh my goodness, this backpack is destroying me. So the $200 backpack you buy turns into a $700 investment, and then I've had the same one for the last 4 years because it's a quality product.
Yeah.
Right. So if you buy right up front, it saves you a lot of heartache and a lot of actual pain and stuff, and you save a lot of money in the long run.
What's the most expensive thing?
Outside of like your bow,
Oh, okay. So is that bow in that $3,000?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
So like good quality clothing is not cheap. Your backpack is not cheap.
What do you wear?
First Light. Yeah. So it's not. I mean, a pair of pants is close to $200.
It's all scent locked or no?
No, it's like merino wool, and has some like water resistant stuff in it, but learning not to wear you can't just go, but you can, don't get me wrong, but you can't just go to you shouldn't go to Academy and just buy a pair of like mossy oak hunting pants.
Yeah,
they'll actually be trash by the end of the week because you're grinding through a bunch of like really thick brush and stuff. But anyways. Yeah, $3,000. You spend $3,000.
What's your license?
That's one of the most expensive parts.
$500.
$700. Yeah, for an elk tag. So eating that tag at the end of the year is like it's an extra heartache, and I do not throw mine away. Why? Just fuels a fire for next year. So if I don't get a kill, and you don't take meat home, you're like, oof.
$700.
Lights the fuse, baby.
You're paying for the experience.
You're paying for the experience. You're paying for the trip. You're paying for the experience. And that's what I try to explain.
Anywhere else, dude. Elk, I mean, obviously here is not even close to hunting.
Yeah.
It's shooting Farmer Joe's cow.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But those will run you way more than that.
Oh, yeah.
So you get the real experience.
Yeah, and if you do it DIY, if you go guided, it's a lot more than that, right?
Yeah.
But
success rate goes up.
Success rate goes up.
But you kind of had a guide.
Yeah,
I mean,
Matt's incredible. He was incredible. Meeting, and that's the thing. We got incredibly fortunate. We got incredibly fortunate meeting Matt, and it really was a game changer for us learning too. Mm-hmm. Like I spend a ton of time, man. Every year I spend a ton of time. It's an investment of time as well because I'm like researching elk, how they sound, how they call, their movement patterns, how they what range of the mountain do they like to sleep in. Like if you're going to be a good hunter, you got to invest the time as well. You got to study. But you just got to start. If you want to do it, you just got to dive in.
Yeah.
And it really is worth it.
I'm kind of pumped.
Kinda?
I'm pumped. But I just need to make sure my wife says it's fine.
And that's the thing is like if you don't go to
But if I just buy pieces starting now
throughout the year,
it's not going to be.
It's not as big a deal. Yeah, and you can. So if you do it in chunks, it's not that bad. And obviously, like the big purchase would be like, okay, boots, camo, tent. Those. Or I'm sorry, backpack, not tent. Tent you can get a decent tent for pretty cheap. Yeah, because they're minimalist tents. Under $200, you can have like a good tent that's.
What's your pack? By the time you're done, what are you weighing? Do you weigh your pack?
Yeah.
What are you trying to get? 50?
Less than 50 pounds.
Less than 50 pounds. And your backpack at first was killing your back because it didn't have any support.
No, it had some support. It just wasn't as
your straps suck or what?
This wasn't as good a quality.
What's your backpack?
It's $700.
Well, what is like the?
Oh, the brand. It's called Exo Mountain Gear.
So these are brands that you
specifically for the Western hunting, like heavy, designed to carry like 100 some odd pound loads of like elk meat and stuff like that. Yeah. So like, I mean, that's how
when you're packing out.
Yeah. You are carrying well over 100 pounds, like easy. Ooh. Yeah.
So your gear, your tent, all that stuff. You try to pack the elk out first and then go back and get camp, or
we've done it both ways. Like that first year we did. Yeah, we did camp out, elk out, that in that order. But it doesn't matter. However, like this year, if we would have harvested mine on Friday, I don't know that we would have hunted Saturday anyways. We probably would have tried to take camp and meet out with us all at one go, something like that.
All right, man. That was a good one.
Was it?
Fun. Yeah,
I guess like story time. I felt like a little bit.
Everybody, if they're interested, they'll listen to it. If
they're not, nobody's gonna listen to it.
It's not very informational. I mean, it is informational.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah. Talking about elk hunting, it's cool.
Yeah, I guess
I'm sure not everybody will like it, but I like it. Yeah, I got to hear them.
That's all that matters as long as we like it, right?
It's our podcast.
It's our podcast. Y'all, we don't care if y'all listen anyways.
We'll just put in the description, hey, if you don't want to hear us talk about
COVID or elk hunting.
Yeah, COVID or elk hunting, just go to the next film.
Yeah, we'll see y'all next week. That's it, Jake.
All right, man.
You want to hunt? Jump in. Yeah. Learn to call. I would say that
learn to call is the first step.
I think it really is. Like because
you gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah, you gotta have you have to have a little knowledge. You need to get on YouTube. You need to research. Like there's a very cool like course you can take, like read through. It's called Elk 101.
Teaches you about elk, what they do,
habitats, how they move, all kinds of stuff. It's super key. If you want to be successful or if you want to go, you need to set yourself up for success. And the only way you do that is you have to learn. You have to be a student.
You going to hunt anywhere else?
Like different states?
Yeah,
different
Montana, areas. Nevada, Arizona's got giant bulls there.
So it's a little harder to get into some of the other states. You can.
No, over the counter tags?
A few do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a few do. I kind of try to stay from going too far north. It gets into grizzly country.
Yeah.
No.
That's so dangerous.
It is so dangerous. Like last year while we were in the mountains, a guide and a client, like they were attacked and one of them was killed.
Oof.
Like right north of us.
He probably said it wasn't smart to carry pistols with him.
He had a pistol. Didn't do any good.
They didn't shoot him?
I don't know if he tried or not. I don't remember the whole story, but yeah, he was killed. And
I know that's a big deal, though. Mm-hmm. Like if you pull that trigger, you better be making sure you're getting attacked, because you'll go to jail for that.
I don't know if it's a federal offense or not, but they have to prove. You have to prove
like it's an investigation.
Yes, you have to prove that they were attacking you for sure.
Yeah, and they'll know the signs of a bear coming after you. Oh yeah, straight marks, all that stuff.
Yep. But the distance, the range, all that kind of thing.
I'm sorry, man. You're gonna tell me no, but I'll carry a pistol with me if I go.
I don't care.
No, you already told me you carry. You said, you don't need that because it's too much weight.
Oh yeah. If you're carrying a bow too, and a bunch of other gear, you're not going to want a pistol, especially in Colorado. Black bears are pretty harmful. Dude, I didn't tell the whole story about the bear. Oh my goodness.
He ate his food.
It's way more than that.
Oh.
He came back in the middle of the night.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. So we're sitting there, and like about half an hour after we fell asleep, the bear, like we're sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear this crazy ruckus like going on, like things like breaking, like bolt, like all kinds of noise. I'm like, it sounds like things are, breaking, branches snapping, getting wild. And I'm like, what the heck is going on, dude? And so I unzip my tent, my tent, and I see Matt Kova, like huffing and puffing coming back up the hill. I'm like, dude, what is going on, man? He's like, oh, dude, that bear came back. And I was like, he sleeps in a tent where the end's like completely open. And,
oh, wow.
It's just like basically a tarp, more or less. It's closed on one end, and the sides are closed, but the front end is like wide open.
He got wet.
Nah. You just turn the tent where it's like not facing the direction of the rain.
So
but
he came back.
Yeah. So he comes back. And I think he knew. I think Kova knew. So check this out, because like
Kova knew what, that he was going to come back.
Yeah, he was like kept telling us, I don't worry about that black bear. He's not coming. I ran him out of here. But he stayed up like an extra half hour outside of his tent.
Well, they found food. They want to come back.
So this dude he said he turned his headlamp on, and the bear like looks at him and like kind of runs off a little bit, but then turns. So Kova's like, oh no, man, it's on now. So the dude like grabs a boulder. He said like it's like, probably a 15-pound boulder, like hucks it at him. That's the exact word. I hucked it at him. Hucks it at him, and then also we hear that, so we're all waking up, and he's like throwing branches and all kinds of stuff, and then I see him like come huffing and puffing back up the hill, from like chasing this bear off, and I was like, dude, what is going on? He's like, oh, that black bear came back, and like he like snaps a branch off, and he like starts swinging like a baseball bat, like, yeah, that'll do. It was pretty funny, and like I fell right back asleep just like that.
Well, they'll attack you or no?
Black bears are not known to really attack people unless provoked, or like cubs. If there's cubs around with the sow, definitely then. But if he's just wanting food, so not super dangerous.
Comes back.
Kind of dangerous, but not super dangerous.
Carries Lucas's pack off. He like just grabs it with his mouth, his bow and his pack are gone.
He wakes up the next morning. He's like, oh, this one's right. Oh,
it's like just his arrows are all snapped in half.
Story of Goldilocks over here. Lucas is like, his bed was the right one. I took a nap in it. Oh man.
God, I feel bad for him.
It was
when I saw the picture of his feet, I was like, day one that happened, he's gonna be miserable.
Yeah, it was bad.
So
dude.
bad.
He had a rough trip, but all in all, he's like already pumped to go again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, there's so many more things to talk about. Don't worry about it. We got to move on. Jake, it's an hour and 26 minutes.
Jeez.
We gotta trim some of this one.
Yeah.
Unimportant information.
Nah.
Get it out of there.
All right.
Wrapping it up?
Yep.
Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good. I'm ready for the next one.
Boom!
See ya. Oh, that's so bad.
There we go. We're out.